your science notebook, open to the table of contents. You're going to write moon phases, dot, 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 page 88 through 90. Moon phases 88 through 90. Then you're going to turn to page 88. This is the page that you should glue down on page 88. Make sure you write your page number on it. Glue this page down on page 89. Make sure you write your page number on it. And then glue this page down on page 90. So for the first part of this video, we're going to be working on page 88. You're going to see me demonstrate the moon phases in the video, and you're going to draw what you see starting here. So you're going to draw what you see in this box starting here. You're also going to label what moon phase it is, and then as the moon phases change, you will write it and draw it in these boxes. We've done a couple of labs where the light represents our sun. We're going to do another lab where the light represents our sun. The moon is going to be represented by this ping pong ball on a stick, and the earth is going to be represented by our head. So because you guys aren't doing this lab at home or in the classroom, I just wanted you to understand what camera angle you were viewing the moon from. So in a few minutes, when you see the moon, your camera angle is basically going to be my eyes. Okay, so I'm going to hold the phone right here, and I'm going to look at the moon from different positions as it revolves around the earth. Because remember, the moon revolves around the earth, which was my head, see it revolving around the earth, as the earth revolves around the sun. So now the camera is directly in front of my face. The sun's in front of me, then we have the moon, and then we have earth, aka the camera or my head. So right now, the moon is in a shadow. The lighted side of the moon is not facing the earth right now. So the moon is completely dark or grayed in, and that's what we call a new moon. Now we're going to rotate 1/8 of a turn to our left, counterclockwise, and you should be able to see a tiny sliver of lit up moon, or a tiny sliver of light on the right-hand side of the moon. That is called a waxing crescent, because it is getting, the lighted side of the moon is getting bigger. So it's like wax on, wane off. Don't know if y'all have seen Karate Kid, but if you have, you would understand wax on. So now we're going to take another 1/8 turn to the left. And now you should see about half the moon that's in the light, and the other half is still gray. The half that's lit up is on the right, the half that's gray is on the left. And this is called a first quarter moon. Then when we turn 1/8 again, you can see the majority of the moon is in the light, but there is still a tiny sliver on this side right here. There's a tiny sliver of gray still on the left. That is called a waxing gibbous. Remember, we're waxing on, so that means as anything that has waxing on it means the light is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, or covering more and more surface area of the moon. If we take another 1/8 turn, now the sun is behind us and the moon is in front of us. So the sun's light is hitting the entire surface of the moon and reflecting back to us on Earth. So the entire moon is lit up, and that's what we call a full moon. We continue to turn, and I have to move my head. Okay. This is, now the light is going to start going away. So this is waning. You can see the majority of the left side is lit up, but there's a little bit of darkness here on the right side. That is called a waning gibbous. We turn again, and now we have about half the moon that's lit up. The other half of the moon, the right side, is in the darkness. That is called a third quarter moon. We turn again, Now it's getting darker and darker and darker on the right, and we just have a tiny sliver on the left-hand side. That is called a waning crescent. And then finally, when we turn all the way back around and we're back where we started from, we're back to a new moon. These moon phases are super important because you will have these moon phases on your test. So you should start studying them now. Don't wait until closer to test time. Start now. So I wanted to make sure you had them correctly. So this page should look like this. Your new moon is where we started. You need to label it, and it needs to be completely shaded in. Your waxing crescent is when you have a sliver of light on the right side and the left side is in shadow. First quarter moon, half the moon on the right side is in light, left side is in shadow. And then waxing gibbous, you have most of the moon in light and just a very sliver on the left in shadow. So this is waxing because the light is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's a full moon, all lit up, the whole entire surface lit up. Then as the light starts to go away, the shadow is now on the right side and it wanes off. So we have waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent, back to our new moon. So make sure you know the difference between waning and waxing. You wax on, you wane off. Make sure you know for waxing, the shadow is on the left, and for waning, the shadow is on the right. That will be questions on your test when you come on your next test date. The next page has some questions. As you watch the video, you should be able to answer these questions. I want you to pause the video now, take a minute and answer all of these questions if you have not answered them already. I am not going to go over every one of these questions. You should have been able to answer most of them on your own. There are a couple that I want to go over, starting with number 3. Why does the illumination of the moon's surface appear to change when viewed from Earth, even though the sun continuously illuminates half of the moon? So it appears that different parts of the moon are getting illuminated or being in the light, even though the sun is always illuminating half of the moon. And the reason is the moon and Earth are both rotating and revolving. So the position of the Earth, sun, and moon are different. That's why we see different things, is because, we were rotating in the video that you saw. I rotated and I turned 1/8 of a turn each time. And that is why it appeared that you could see different parts or different pieces of the moon in the lighted side. There was other parts of the moon that were lit up. They were just not facing the Earth and we couldn't see them. We are going to skip number 4. That's pretty easy. I've talked about it several times in this video. You can answer that on your own. Number 5, contrast the relative position of the sun, earth, and moon during the full moon phase and the new moon phase. So during full moon, the moon is farthest from the sun, and during a new moon, the moon is closest to the sun. And we're going to prove that by looking at our picture on the previous page. Full moon, remember our sun's way down here. Full moon, the moon is furthest away from the sun. New moon, the moon is closest to the sun. All right, and the last question that I want to go over, if a new moon is seen today, in approximately how many days will a full moon be seen? So it takes 29 days, about a month, 29 days to go through the entire lunar cycle. 29 days is the entire lunar cycle. So to go from new to full moon would be about half of that, or approximately 14 days. So some kids want to answer 29 days on this question or about a month on this question. It is about a month to get from start back to start again. But that's not what this question is asking you. The question is asking you from new moon to full moon. So again, let's look at our diagram that we have. So to get from new moon all the way back to new moon is about a month, 29 days. But the question said, how long does it take you to get from new moon to full moon? That's only halfway in the cycle. Well, you can't really divide 29 in half, so it's about 14 days. The last part of this video, we're actually going to watch a video from NASA, and it's the moon phases that NASA recorded in 2017. Now, they recorded, and you will see the moon phases for every day. But I'm going to pause the video on these specific dates, and you're going to draw what the moon looks like and then name that moon phase when the video is paused. So go ahead and take a second and pause the video right now and write all these dates down so you have that part done. And then when you unpause the video, you will see the NASA video will begin. So here is the NASA video, Moon Phases in 2017. If you look down here in the right-hand corner, it says January 2nd, 2017. So the first date that we're going to do is January 27th. So nothing should be drawn on your book yet. I'm going to play the video and then I will pause it on January 27th. So now if you look down here in the corner, you will see that the date says January 27th. You need to draw this image of the moon, which is the moon completely shaded in or completely in shadow. And then you need to write the name of that moon phase. What is the name of that moon phase? Well, it should be a new moon. Now I'm going to unpause the video and then I will stop it again on January 31st. Look at the date right here. That is January 31st. You need to draw the image of this moon. So you will draw a moon that is dark on the majority of the left side with just a little sliver of light on the right side. And you will name this moon, which should be a waxing crescent. I'm going to unpause the video and I'm going to stop it again on February 3rd. Oops, I went past February 3rd. There we go. There is February 3rd. Draw what you see. Half the moon on the right in light, half the moon on the left in darkness, and write the name of that phase, which is a first quarter moon. Here it is on February the 7th. Draw this moon phase. Majority of the moon is in light. We just have a little sliver on the left that is in darkness. And we call that moon a waxing gibbous. All right, for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates, I'm going to pause the video, but I'm not going to tell you the answer to the image or the name of the moon phase. If you do get stuck, you can turn backwards to page 88 to get the moon phase's name. Oop, that went a little bit past the 10th. Let's back up some. So there is February 10th. Draw what you see and write the name of that moon phase. There is February the 14th, Valentine's Day in 2017. Draw what you see. Notice that now the part of the moon in shadow is on the right and the lit side is on the left. There is February the 18th. Draw what you see and make sure you write down the name of the moon phase that you are seeing. There is February 22nd. Draw what you see and write down the name of the moon phase. And there is February 26th. Draw what you see and write down the name of the moon phase. You should have your chart filled in on page 90 of your science notebook. You should be able to answer how long did it take the moon to go from one moon phase to the next. That's from each of those dates, about how many days are between each of those dates. Number 2, how long does it take the moon to make one complete revolution around the Earth? That's to go from new moon back to new moon. Again, you can count from the first new moon to the second new moon to see how long it took. And then question 3, what do you notice about the moon throughout the course of an entire year? Well, in order to answer that question, you need to watch the rest of this video. So I'm going to play the rest of this video for you. We're about halfway through the year. If you notice the date, it's now June. Remember, your question asked you what you noticed as you see the moon go through its cycle throughout the course of an entire year. So you should be able to answer that last question as this is the end of our video. Make sure all your notebook pages are complete.